Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's get to 200K. We are almost there. But anyways, if you guys doubted me when I said Donald Trump won that debate, well, you may have been wrong. And I'm going to explain why in this video because we have more data, we have new polls, and Kamala Harris is not doing well, all things considered, and we're going to analyze why. But I wanted to bring this to people's attention because I don't feel like they understand where the median voter really stands today. Because when you look at pollsters that have these dials on them, and they give them to Republicans, they give them to independents, and they give them to Democrats, kind of trying to see where the positive or negative reactions lie. And they did this for the economy. They did this for immigration, even abortion, IVF. No matter what you say, you look at Donald Trump, and it was the inverse for Kamala Harris. Fox did a whole 25-minute video. It's on YouTube about it. Donald Trump overwhelmingly was viewed favorably by independents. And if people don't believe me, go back without the social media riffraff and being worried or whatever that a lot of people are. Watch the debate, rewatch it, and then tell me who won. Because honestly, the answer was Donald Trump. It wasn't close. And the independents agree. Look at this. And then look at this. And at times, the independents were actually tracking more positive than Republicans for Donald Trump on immigration, on the economy, you name it. And that was not the case in 2020 with this same system. It was the opposite. Donald Trump now, he's winning the argument. That's what matters. Kamala Harris did not have a bad debate performance, but Donald Trump arguably had a better one. And because substance is the tiebreaker, and that's what's going to move these undecided voters, Donald Trump won on substance, and it was not even close, regardless of whatever they want to say. The biased mainstream media fact checkers, it doesn't matter. It was 3-on-1. And people will critique Donald Trump because he apparently was, they say, angry or rattled. Well, you know what? This country's angry at what's going on. This country is rattled. They say he's mad. But Hillary Clinton, if you watch the debates from 2016, they said the same thing. Oh, she won the debates and he was rattled. And then everybody goes back and they watch those debates and they see that Donald Trump won them. He won the argument. It wasn't close. And that's what people in key states, especially if you look at the exit polls from 2016, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, those voters that cared about the debate, it wasn't like 70-30 like these polls were showing, these snap polls from CNN. It was, much, much closer. And I think that Donald Trump won them. And you look at this, what does it show? It shows that people that are saying Trump got agitated or mad because he had fire in him, which I have not seen this election cycle. I was hyped up watching that debate for good reason. Forget that Americans right now, they're fed up with the economy. They're fed up with immigration. They're fed up with the lies from, Harris's campaign. There's no substance. Donald Trump went out there. He played offense and defense. He played both sides of the ball, and he played both sides of the ball well. And we're going to get to some polls out of Michigan. But first, I have to tell you guys about my merch store, shop.redeaglepolitics.com. It's election season. You got to get some election merch if you guys want to help support the channel. We have the America First design, the Red Eagle Politics design. We have the Trump Bullet design. We have all this and more, these coffee mugs. I got one of these myself, by the way, and it comes with the quote on the back of it, the inspirational moving quote, and you have the epic Trump America bullet design on the front of the mug. Make sure you guys check it out, and you can get a t-shirt and you can get a mug for 20% off. It's a deal that we're running for a limited time at shop.redeaglepolitics.com. But you look at this and it's just insane. And it proves that the media narrative is not usually what happens. The media will declare a debate victor. And Donald Trump, obviously, if you watch the debate in 2020, the second debate, Donald Trump decisively beat Joe Biden. The snap polls after the debate showed the opposite. Same thing with the 2016 debates with Hillary Clinton. The only time Trump has been declared the winner of a debate by the mainstream media was the first debate with Biden, where they wanted Biden pushed to the side. And usually that does kind of lead to a response bias in polling for a little while. We saw this in 2012. Mitt Romney actually did win that debate against Obama. It was not even close, but you saw Mitt Romney take the lead in the popular vote. He was never actually ahead. That was response bias. National polling right now that we've seen, it's a mixed bag, and we're going to get to that. But we have to talk about the states that actually matter, because as somebody from Michigan watching that debate, it resonates with you. It really does. The things that he's talking about, trade, immigration, this is what people in middle America care about. And they're upset with the political correctness. They're upset with the fact that the government has dumped the entire country of Haiti into a small town in Ohio. They don't like the media narrative. And then if you question why are we doing this, they call you every single possible name in the book. It's unacceptable. We have a poll from Michigan, the most accurate pollster from 2020, Donald Trump leading Kamala Harris in insider advantage the day after the debate. That is absolutely crucial and absolutely huge. And this is not an isolated incident. You could say it's a Republican leading pollster. They were off in 2022 in some places, even though it's kind of malpractice to compare presidential years to midterm years in terms of the polling. I think we learned that the hard way a couple of years back. But if you look at all the polls we've seen, CBS News is the only one with Harris with a slight lead. And then you look at the other polls. Americans for IVF, which again, typically you'd say that's a left-leaning group. Even though Trump also does support IVF, they came up with a tie. Trafalgar, pretty good in the Rust Belt and presidential years, does overestimate Republicans, but they came out with a tie. And the insider advantage gave Donald Trump a lead, the gold standard from 2020 in the state. And then you see the polls that did get 2022 right. The Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press, they both have Donald Trump with a 1-point lead. And you see what's going on in Michigan. It's absolutely true that Donald Trump does have a very good shot. And when you look at, we've seen polls over the past week as well based on religion. And Pew Research has Donald Trump surging compared to 2020 among white Catholics. That's huge, especially because Biden was kind of like that. He LARPed as one. Doesn't mean he actually was one. But you see him putting on the MAGA hat in the, Pennsylvania Fire Department. It was actually a likable moment. It's like, okay, maybe you can understand why some of these people might vote for somebody like that. Kamala Harris is not likable. Biden has obviously been a horrible president. He's incompetent. He's destroyed this country. But Kamala Harris, despite, obviously she shares that record, but trying to distance herself, she actually comes off as less likable. With Biden, it's like even some portion of the right watching the first debate, they kind of felt bad for him. Yet a lot of people saying it's elder abuse, even if they don't like the guy's policies or they don't even like him personally. A moment like that, people are going to say it's elder abuse. With Kamala Harris coming out there and actually, being relatively competent for her standards, I think she did better than some people on the right expected. She kind of comes across like a kindergarten teacher wagging her finger and giving all these weird facial expressions. If you put the debate on mute, Donald Trump is the overwhelming favorite of the debate. It's not even close in terms of who won it. But you look at Michigan, this is huge. And also Muslim voters. That's another thing about the religion poll. Because Muslim voters, they're a very small, percentage of the population in Michigan even. Their influence is overstated. But in a state that could come down to 50,000 votes, there are more than 50,000 Muslims. And Kamala Harris, in the most recent poll, was in third place in Michigan among Muslims behind Jill Stein and Donald Trump. That's not good news because that helped pad Biden's margin in the state by around 40, 50,000. And her distancing herself from Biden is not working. Her basically going out there and snubbing Josh Shapiro in part because of his, potentially, I don't think it's the only reason why he was snubbed, but people are saying that one of the reasons why he was snubbed was because he did happen to be Jewish, and she went with somebody who has, praised the protests in Tim Walz. It's not doing her any favors, and that's a major, major problem. And a lot of people just don't understand politics. They don't understand middle America. They don't even understand certain dynamics on the left in this country. And these are the same people that are saying that Trump lost the debate, and they all come up with some different bogus reason for it. But the American people Don't agree with that reason. You can look at the polls that we've seen post the debate. Now, there was a poll that just dropped from YouGov and The Times, and they have Harris up by 1 nationally. That's post-debate. That's not really a big, I would say, lead that she would need, because a lead of 1, that's not going to cut it with the Electoral College and the Electoral College bias being where it's at. But you see Morning Compost, she gains 1 point. Reuters, she gains 1 point. The typical suspect, she gains a point. The New York Post, she loses a point from their August poll that they did post-DNC. Rasmussen drops a poll. It's Trump plus 2. Donald Trump gains a point in Rasmussen. It's kind of a wash what we're seeing right now. And the debate is already pretty much leaving the news cycle because it's the 48-hour rule. But even then, they're trying to hype her up as a winner. They get a little response bias from their, typical suspects, these largely online self-volunteering panels that a lot of liberals signed up for during COVID, like Ipsos. And you see what's going on there. They can't even get her up to a Biden 2020 lead on the same day, even in their most favorable pollster. They can't even get a Harris plus 8. They can get a Harris plus 5, and they only have Trump at 42, when in the aggregate he's at 47. 9% are not undecided. I would say maybe 3% are undecided, and in the places that matter, a lot of these undecided voters are men, and they were turned off by Kamala Harris's debate performance, very patronizing, lacking substance, but still the media is going to hand her the debate win, something she didn't earn, just like everything else in life that she's gotten, she has not earned. And we understand that by now. But you talk about Michigan, just electorally speaking, we don't have a lot of data because there's no primary registration data, but it is the most liberal of these 3, so-called blue wall states that Donald Trump won in 2016, but is looking to flip back into his column. And how does he exactly do it? Well, Wayne County, that's the largest county. He's going to need to cut that margin down, and I believe he will, 30%. I think that's the highest for a Republican in Wayne County since, I believe, not even 2004, but 1988 or one of those years. It's been a long time, but he's probably going to get in the mid-30s. If he can get that into the mid-30s, that is crucial, especially if turnout does drop in Detroit City proper, and I think Trump will gain in Detroit City proper. You look at Macomb County, Donald Trump needs to get his margin up there significantly, and I think with the appeal that he's got going on with these auto workers, it's very crucial. I think that he's going to do well in Macomb. I think he's going to do well in the rest of the state. The thumb is just Trump sign after Trump sign after Trump sign. Now, yard sign analysis does not win elections, but it can, I guess, gauge enthusiasm. And doing the same drive back in 2016 as I did, you did not see that level of support and enthusiasm. Harris is poison to the Rust Belt, even more so than you could even argue current Joe Biden is, and that's a major problem that she has. So you talk about the gap. There is a lot of room to grow. I'm not saying Trump's going to win a state like Minnesota or even like New Hampshire or Maine, despite the fact that Kamala Harris is going up there and trying to defend New Hampshire. She did it last week. But in terms of a state like Michigan, this is a state that Donald Trump can easily win back. The math is there. It is the bluest of those 3, but the fact that we're getting some pollsters, high-quality pollsters, and in-state pollsters that have leaned left more so than not, and all these pollsters are showing the same exact thing, it proves Michigan is consequential. And Harris understands she's got that rural, not even just rural, but the working class men issue. So that's why she thinks she's going to overcome it with North Carolina and Georgia. Yeah, that's really tough because there's a lot of rural white voters in North Carolina who are working class, and they're not, you got to win a good portion of them in Western North Carolina to even have a shot, and then you need supercharged black turnout. I'm not sure she's getting any, especially because of the ballot request data that we have right now, and granted, it's not enough for sure, but North Carolina, that's the Big 7 state that she's probably least likely to win, but she's prioritizing that more so than some of these other places. Yeah, a little bit strange of a strategy, but not the strategy of somebody who's winning or somebody who won the debate. A lot of these media gaslighting tactics are just that, because when you look at the actual raw data, you see the polling shifts and where they're going. Our own poll showed a shift of about 0.3% to the left with a much smaller sample size, so that's why I didn't even want to cover it a whole lot, but still, that's not much of a shift. And on top of that, the places that matter are the places that are going to be most turned off by her debate performance and the way the media is spinning things and the way the media has been covering it. And it's not a good look for her whatsoever. Donald Trump is the favorite, and I think the debate increased his odds. And this is like the Trump debate cycle. It's like he goes and does a debate, everybody whines about it, and then the highlights spread on social media, and within a week, that's all people remember. That's all people are talking about. Trump is taking the energy out of the room. A little bit after the fact, he's always vindicated, and we're going to see what happens this election cycle. But no third debate. I don't think there really should be one. It's kind of pointless. It's not going to hurt Trump. It's not going to really help Trump. Kamala needs it more than Trump does. That's why she's calling for it when she didn't really want to debate until then. So, yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what happens, guys. But anyways, make sure you like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.